You're listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show. I'm Jason.
And I'm Patricia. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Transformation Talk Radio.
We discovered that human potential is severely limited when you program humans like a machine, which is standard practice today for self-improvement.
The ecosystem approach teaches you how to uncover your infinite potential by using natural methods that are truly revolutionary. Join us now for the Ecosystem Approach Show. Today, we're going to talk about a topic that is truly groundbreaking. We have created a metaphor so everyone can understand the soul, or what we call essence, in a way that makes sense. We'll also use that metaphor, the same metaphor, to help you understand negative energy and how to change that energy in your life. And as a bonus, we'll talk about negative energy and how it affects a person's intuition and intuitive clarity. That's kind of a big deal right there.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Today's show could create understanding that will explain your life in a way that could eliminate, huge amounts of confusion. Stay tuned. We are married intuitives with over 25 years experience who created the ecosystem approach. This is a groundbreaking way to see yourself in this age of Aquarius. We help you unleash healing and potential that is unknown today and is totally unique to you personally. This is not your typical type of energy work. We help you with life-changing internal discovery that is powerful, rational, practical, and useful for everyday life. Jason, tell the audience about the metaphor that we've created to better understand the essence.
You know, we've been working on this for a long time.
We have.
And this metaphor is what separates us from all the others in this field.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about what refined intuition is in a way that's better.
Okay.
I think you'll see our refined intuition as we talk about this metaphor and we talk about how this works, because I think this creates a form of clarity that up to now, I feel like I've just been babbling, about some of this, and I think a lot of people don't quite understand.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just jump in and use the metaphor.
Okay, I'm ready for it.
So, this is to describe your soul, what we call essence. So think of your soul as an energy.
Okay.
And when we see it, we don't see it in a shape or in a way that's usable. If we were going to translate it, could you draw it? Is that something you could do? I don't think,
No.
It's just there. We know it's there.
Right.
And we know it's operating. It's in a huge way, but
yes,
we couldn't really draw it or whatever. So this metaphor, I think, is going to be really helpful.
So do I.
Think of it as a 10-story corporate headquarters for you.
Okay.
Your corporate headquarters is 10 stories.
Okay.
And each floor has 10 employees.
Okay.
So the way we describe the whole, which is what the soul is.
That is correct.
We've just arbitrarily broken it down into 100 different pieces. And we call those 100 different pieces employees.
And by the way, everyone, the pieces part is really important. So hang on to that part right there. Yes, we're going to call them employees for now, but hang on to that part, because it's really going to help you understand. One of the next things that we're going to talk about is that good and bad.
Yes.
But go ahead.
So we could have 100 employees. We could have 10 employees. We could have 1,000 employees. We could have 1,000 million employees. It just whatever to describe the whole.
That is correct.
But we used the number 100.
The total of 100. Yeah.
And so we could have 10 employees per floor.
Okay.
And it makes up 100 employees for your corporate headquarters.
Correct.
So when you break down each one of those bits of your essence,
correct,
those 100 bits.
Those 100 bits, yes.
The first level is like, it has two levels. The first level has a foundation, which is life force. powers
Well said.
this employee, so to speak.
Okay.
The second level has the unique attributes, purpose, your motives, your personality,
Okay.
your sense of direction, what you're here to do, your talents and abilities,
Correct.
all the things that are totally unique to you.
Yes.
And this metaphor will allow us to explain human existence in a better way. It will allow us to explain what's going on with you and what we have to do to help what's going on with you by getting to the root cause, and in a way that I don't think I could before. You know, I've always been struggling with it, finding a way to address it. And this is truly, you know, we call it groundbreaking.
It is groundbreaking.
People overuse these adjectives a lot.
Well, that part's true, but right now this is what we're going with. How's that?
It's a way of understanding emotional and physical healing.
Yes.
It's a way to fully understand human potential. This is what really gets me going at the middle of the night.
All right.
Patricia, you know, at 3 a.m. But anyways, so
and my answer is if you want to live through the night.
But you know, we've all heard that human potential is that humans only use a small portion of their potential.
Correct.
And and this can explain that. You know,
exactly.
This can explain that in ways that for the first time I think is really understandable, because I think the people that say it, that we only use a small portion of our potential, may be able to see some of this, but not all of it. They don't get it either. They don't understand what's keeping us from using all of our potential.
That is correct. And nobody's been able to explain that before. And I am going to jump in. I know you're still describing, but when I started using the ecosystem approach, I'll be honest with you, I was trained to even use less than just even a small portion of my potential. And when I started using the ecosystem approach, removing, and I'm going to say it, removing negative energy from those bits, from those 10 bits on each floor.
Or 10 employees.
Or 10 employees. When I started removing the negative energies, all of a sudden, there was a form of a light that went off. And I went, oh my gosh, now I understand that explanation. Oh my gosh, now I can see how to do this. Oh, wow, I could do this. I could do that.
Yes.
Everyone, that's potential.
We've both seen it firsthand.
We have.
And as we remove this negative energy. And so let's get into the 100 bits. Okay. By seeing them as employees, as people or personalities.
Because we've all been around, quote, employees, whether we've been the head of a company or just an employee in a company.
Yes, but my point is about that. Is that these bits have personality, and when they're encumbered with, when they have negative energy, dark energy attached to them, they have a different personality, but it's still personality. So thinking of it in terms of personality as opposed to something that's just like a piece or like a part or
like a piece of a jigsaw puzzle.
Yes, that doesn't have any sort of personality or energy, or it makes it to us. It's a more accurate representation, because if you see it as just pieces, as just a piece that has no intention, no purpose, no motive, no personality, no direction, any of that, then you miss it, because these employees have a purpose
and an intent.
And when you attach negative energy to them, they have another intent and purpose. And we're going to talk about that in the next segment. So I'm going to do the summary, and we'll go into the next segment, because we're a little early today, but we're gonna go for it in the next segment. And for it in the next segment. So
So Jason, what is the summary of this section?
Describing essence is difficult because it's an energy, and its function and the way it works is not clear. We've created a metaphor about essence so it can be better understood. Imagine you have a corporate headquarters that is 10 stories tall, and the whole of the essence is broken down into 100 pieces or 100 employees. Each of these pieces represents an employee in your corporate headquarters. Those 100 pieces have two parts: the foundation, which carries life force, and the second level, which carries the unique characteristics of essence, like purpose, personality, talents, abilities, and a whole slew of others. Okay.
Correct.
We are going to use this metaphor to explain all sorts of things that happen to people when their source is their essence, when it's coming from their essence, why it works sometimes and why it doesn't work sometimes.
Okay.
This will allow you to see essence as a foundational part of life, which it is and needs to be seen. It can be used for emotional and physical healing, and as the source of all other issues and challenges in a person's life.
Okay.
It is also the most exciting use for true human accomplishment and the development of real human potential.
Okay. In the next segment, we're going to talk about the negative or dark energy that is related to your staff of corporate headquarters, or what we're calling your essence. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about negative or dark energy as it relates to your staff in your corporate headquarters, or what we're calling your essence. Jason, how do you describe negative energy or an employee in your headquarters that has negative energy attached to you? Or some would say, what do you mean to you? Meaning that the employee.
So it's motives that employees are not in line with who you are.
Okay.
So if you think of your corporate headquarters as the that's being in charge of you and your life,
Okay.
and getting what you want based on being the authentic part of you, which is your essence.
Okay.
This is who I am in the world. This is what I'm trying to achieve, and your essence is helping you with that.
Okay.
So when you have an employee that has negative energy attached,
Okay.
there's all sorts of possibilities. And if you think about your life, you'll see some of these employees. For example, there could be employees that group together, trying to destroy the company.
Yeah.
That's
Go ahead.
you know, there are employees that might group together that are just goofing off. They come into work and they don't want to do any work, and they don't do any work, and as a result, the other ones that are left are
working 10 times as hard,
and as a result, you're not as productive. You're not getting what you need.
Right.
If you've ever been sick, ever had a disease or illness or chronic disease, illness, some of those employees are saying, yeah, well, let's make them feel, let's give them this cancer, or let's create this heart disease, or do this or that. If you think of all the things in your life and relate it back to a group of employees that are bad, you can start to see how that works. And those employees. So let's talk about those employees a little bit.
Well, I want to give you an example that you and I didn't talk about, but I think it's a really good one.
Okay.
You can tell me whether I'm right or wrong. Yeah. There's a holiday coming up, and I want a new outfit, and yet I know that I really shouldn't use that credit card, or I don't have enough money in my checking account to do that. But on the third floor, there's an employee that keeps saying, "Oh, do it anyway. Don't worry about it. It's, just go for it. And it's, you'll get away with it. Don't worry. We'll cover it up. We'll figure out how to manipulate not only the people that this money that you spend will affect, but also how it's going to manipulate you to feel guilt and shame."
Well, and I would say in your corporate headquarters, there's a whole department that says, yeah, you should go for it. And then there's another whole department that says, no, you should never, ever spend any money. So, and you might think from this that she spends a lot of money. She really doesn't.
I don't.
She's really kind of tight. And so but she wants everything. She just doesn't
Well,
let herself have it. So
and by the way, those are other bad employees
yes,
telling me I don't deserve it.
yes.
Things like that.
So there's
We're
no
giving you
balance.
examples,
Yeah.
everyone, and it's kind of interesting.
And that's a very low level example, but there's
But
a
it
lot
doesn't
of
matter
yes.
because a lot of us, that's where we stay with those low level employees
For most of our life. A lot of us.
because that's what's comfortable.
Yes. So
Okay,
so
go
let's
ahead.
go talk
Sorry.
about it again. For each employee, there's the foundation, that's life force.
Okay.
It creates life in you, even
Yes.
if there's negative energy attached. Okay.
Okay.
The second level is unique attributes, purpose, motives, personality, direction, talents, abilities. And then bad employees, what have negative energy attached, it's like a virus that take over the second level.
Yeah.
They make sure that the authentic is changed and perverted. Imagine input that comes to your headquarters, and then the bad employees get it, and the information is transmitted to management, which is your consciousness, because it's
Well said.
changed, perverted,
Yeah.
distorted, misrepresented, and it can be impossible for the management or you, your consciousness, for making a good decision.
Get it.
You know,
I understand. That's a really good way to say that.
I have an ex-wife that I know. I had a whole department giving me bad information
About her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Well,
all the stuff. Now that I look back on it, all it was right there. It was right in front of me.
but those bits or that one,
Those
one or
employees, that department, yeah,
they put them right out there in front of me and said, "Yeah, you should have seen this," but they didn't say to you, "Wake up and smell the coffee here."
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
yeah. You know, there are employees that conspire to hurt the company, that they're
Mhm.
just lazy, they don't do their work. There are ones that are blocking your evolution. There are ones that are tricksters
Oh yeah.
and love to create havoc.
Yes. Yes.
We have a client that was on a business trip and fell and
Oh.
broke a bone. I saw a trickster.
Yep.
He could have a whole department there. There was something there.
Yeah. Exactly.
And ones that like to distort communications, ones that want to take over, ones that just want to have fun.
Mhm.
Oh, go do this over here.
Oh, you don't need to do your taxes. Just do
exactly.
exact things like that.
So let's talk about these bad employees from a different context. Okay. We've been talking a lot about the 80%. Now, if you've been listening for a while, you've heard us talk about
That's
the 80%.
Correct.
And the 80% is that we see because we're looking, we're not just taking what's out there as face value. We evaluate based on our own ability to see.
That is correct.
And we're going to talk in the next segment on what that is, which is refined intuition. But right now, we see that most people come into the world with 80% of their employees with bad energy.
Correct.
Now, when you start to think of it in terms of corporate headquarters, and you think of you have 100 employees and 80 of them aren't working for your best interest.
Correct.
You think, oh my gosh. Now, I've said this to so many people over this 25 years.
Okay.
And I either get a blank stare like, huh? What?
Yeah.
Or it just doesn't compute. But when you think if you've got a company, and if you've ever had a company, you know that you have 100 employees, but 80 of them are goofing off or working in a bad way,
words, you're paying them for something that they're not doing,
bad mouthing the company, all those things.
Exactly.
You say, oh my
or
God,
doing.
that's awful.
Yes.
Here's the other thing about that 80%. So I guess I want to back up just one thing.
Okay.
We looked at people who have achieved greatness that are either alive today or who have died, or even in history who have been famous.
Correct.
And we see that they also had the 80%.
Sometimes more, sometimes a little less.
And frankly, that's easy to see.
Yes.
Two examples that just jumped to mind: Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
He was a genius. I have an iPhone that he just created the smartphone revolution. It's an amazing thing. But he was a bully. He died way too soon. He died of pancreatic cancer.
Cancer.
He had a whole bunch of employees, not in Apple, but in his essence, that weren't working in his best interest.
Correct.
And Elon Musk is another good example. Tesla and Starlink are some amazing technologies, but I've seen how he treats his employees, how he thinks. When he took over Twitter,
Yeah.
which is now X,
Yes.
yeah,
Choose your words.
yeah, show.
Right.
He thinks he knows it, and he doesn't. So that's a reflection of the 80 employees in his essence, in his corporate headquarters, that aren't working in his best interest.
Mhm.
You can't fire those people. If you understand
Yeah.
this metaphor, these employees cannot be fired. In other words, you can't just get rid of them. And if you remember our processor, when we talk in the
That's
third,
right.
removing negative energy, it goes in the top, it gets processed, and it comes out neutral.
Correct.
So the way you have to think of it is these bad employees that can't be fired or eliminated, you have to retrain them. Change, you have to, and then some, in some cases, and this isn't a rule, they have to be retrained.
That's correct.
But sometimes you can just remove the negative energy and they just know what they're supposed to do. But a lot of times they have to be retrained.
That's correct.
And that's one of those things that's hard to
Well,
understand.
and this is one of the reasons we created the ecosystem approach.
Yes.
Because we could see the 80% in ourselves, and we figured out that, wait a minute, if I can't fire them, that kind of thing. If we could change that energy that they were carrying
Yes.
for us, it would make our lives so much better.
And what we've seen with this is when you have what we call the curse contract. We had a
Correct.
show about that a
Yes.
couple weeks ago. When something deep-seated that
Mhm.
you were born with,
Mhm.
whether it's whether a health condition, whether it's you're unlikable, unpopular,
Mhm.
you're not able to work with people, where you have money issues
Mhm.
that just seem chronic, and
I still want that new dress.
yes,
Uh-huh.
overspending, unable to spend, bad financial choices,
Mhm.
all bad life decisions, self-sabotage, addictions. Oh my gosh, bad employees,
Mm.
compulsions, being unlikable, unpopular,
Correct.
bad reputation, social rejection, betrayals, being a victim, you name it. You
Right.
can all directly attribute that to some of those bad employees in your essence.
That is correct.
So for the first time, I'm hoping that it's the light bulbs going on. When you're listening to this, say, "Oh my God, I've got 80." If you've been doing the ecosystem approach, it's less than that, but I've got 80 employees that aren't working in my best interest out of 100.
And don't listen and aren't working and doing all those things that don't. And I don't want to use the word serve you, but don't work with you to make your life better.
This idea that we come in as babies as pure is
Yeah.
just not true. We don't see that. I'd love to be able to see that,
Oh,
but when
wouldn't
we
that be
look,
amazing?
it's not the case.
Yeah.
That's what accounts for childhood cancers and these diseases that people
and-
come in
right.
with.
Right.
So we're going to keep talking about this, but these bad employees, we're going to talk about what we can do, and then we're going to talk about how these bad employees affect intuition. But should we do the summary?
Jason, what is the summary of this segment?
The best way to understand negative energy is through the metaphor of essence as corporate headquarters and 100 employees that represents the whole of essence. We see that people are born with 80 of those 100 employees that represents the whole as bad or dysfunctional with negative energy attached to them. It's attached at the second level, which represents the uniqueness of the person or the essence. All life issues a person can have can be traced back to those 80 bad employees. Those issues include relationships, health problems, money problems, all human problems like addictions, reputation, social rejection, all types of betrayal, and just being a victim are the result of those bad employees that cannot be fired, but they must be retrained. So sometimes when the bad energy from these bad employees goes deep and is connected to curses and contracts, it takes a long time to remove. However, with these bad employees, it's the root cause of all human suffering. This is the root cause, people. It's not your DNA. It's not people just making bad choices. It's they've got bad employees that are giving them bad information.
Correct. In the next segment, we're going to talk about how your intuition and essence work together and what we mean by refined intuition. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about how your intuition and essence work together. I like that. And what we mean by refined intuition. Okay, Jason, we've been trying to explain refined intuition for a really long time. Do you think the metaphor of a person's essence can help that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And we're gonna. I realize that we've already given you a huge amount of information, and you're probably just spinning, trying to
Figure it
think
out.
out. Okay, what happened? What did my employees do to me when I did this and when I did this and
Yeah,
made
true. Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So, but also when you think about your potential and what you could do in the world, I guarantee you've got employees that are working against you there. But let's talk about intuition for a minute, which is
Okay.
another whole nother topic, but I think that we can use this metaphor to understand it better.
Okay.
Intuition is just a pathway. So in other words, it's not a thing. It's like a highway that leads up to your corporate headquarters.
It's an energetic highway.
Yes.
Okay.
And it connects the energy field to those things that are living. In other words, so when we when I look at my wife and I see that oh, she's looking at those Easter dresses, intuitively, my highway gets input that
Yes.
oh my gosh, she wants one of those, but
how much is it going to cost?
how much going to cost? But she's not going to spend any money anyways. She's always going to talk herself out of it. So all those things, I'm getting all that.
I'd like you to stop telling my secrets.
I'm getting all that input. Okay.
Okay.
That's input. But then it goes into the corporate structure. Think of those 100 employees having inboxes and outboxes.
Okay.
So it says, okay, here's the input.
A new dress.
Well, yeah, your wife wants a new dress.
Your wife, yeah, right. Your wife wants a new dress. I just want it
so what
to
do
be
you
followed.
do? Yeah, what do you do with that?
Right.
And so you have these groups of employees, these departments. I guarantee you, the bad employees come together in ways that are really dysfunctional for you.
Yes.
And
does my backside look big in these pants? Things, same thing.
Exactly.
Okay, go ahead.
So, and then it goes out to be processed through your consciousness.
Yes.
So it comes in as input, and then I see, okay, what should I do about that? And then,
Correct.
And then it comes out in my consciousness, and I make a decision to do something or not do something,
Correct.
or say something or not say something. If that input is about you, in other words, when it's about how you're, whenever you and I interact, it's always about both of us.
Yes.
Or it's when it's personal to you, there's a high likelihood, here's the biggie,
okay,
that it will be touched by many of those who are bad employees. So in other words, I remember Sylvia Browne, and we're not a big fan of Sylvia Browne, but she used to live close to where we did. So
That's correct.
We had heard about her a lot. But she would make these proclamations, but one of the things she said was, you can never be psychic for yourself. And which of course is complete malarkey. We know that. But what she was saying is, I'm hopeless about those 80 employees that I have attached to me,
because I believe I can't do anything about them.
So when I try and evaluate the world for me, I can't do it.
Right.
And she wasn't wrong, but it's you can still change those employees. That's how the intuition process works. So think of it as you could connect with the non-physical dimension, so when we talk to someone who's dead, that's how we do it. We can connect to other people in the physical dimension.
That's correct.
That's people. It's also animals and living things. They all have an energy, and that's how we connect, is with our intuition.
Correct.
But it gets processed through all those departments.
Yes.
So when we talk about refined intuition, and we've been talking about this for a long time, so, and I know that we really haven't explained it very well, but refined intuition is when you start consciously, like we do with the ecosystem approach. We've been doing this for 25 years, and we we walk the talk. We literally are
We do.
clearing every single day.
That is
And
correct.
every single day we're talking to each other about, oh, I just saw this, and oh, I just saw this. And
Yes.
and as we're
By the way, we saw this and we saw that by using our intuition. I want to make sure
intuition
that's clear.
and retraining
Correct.
those 80 employees
Correct.
that are no longer. Now, someone's going to ask us, I know this is inevitable, and it's a real hard question to answer. So after 25 years, how many of those 80 employees have been retrained?
Yes.
And
Depends on the subject. Let me just say it that way.
that's true. It does depend on the
It
subject.
depends on the subject.
And it depends on what area it works. One of the things that has worked really well for us is our relationship.
Yes.
It's the biggest asset that we have in our life.
Correct.
And so we've really removed a lot of the bad employees that make us connect with the wrong people and then implement that relationship in a way that is dysfunctional.
That is correct.
We've figured out how to do that really, really well. It's one of
I agree.
our best attributes. And there's other areas that we're still working on, and we're going to continue to still work on those.
Well, first off, we didn't get in, and I'm talking about everybody, meaning our listeners. You didn't get to where you are overnight. So it's going to take a while to turn things around.
And what we see is that this is lifetimes and lifetimes.
Yes.
Some of these curses that we see with people have been going on, not just in this lifetime, but in previous lifetimes.
Over and over again.
Over and over and over again. So when it's very deep, it requires retraining and a lot of retraining.
Yes.
And we could talk about that. That could be a whole different show, but we're not going to talk about that right now. But refined intuition is when you start, instead of having those 80 employees that are out to sabotage the information that comes through and goes to your consciousness, you get more clarity because you know yourself more.
Yes.
And you know how you can output it in ways that is a broader concept. So going back to the example with Sylvia Brown, who was a famous psychic.
She was.
And I've listened to her. She answered questions that I don't think you should ever answer, like, is this the guy I'm going to be married to? And, and the guy that I'm going
because we have free will.
We have free will. And it doesn't, even if she answered, well, okay, this is the guy you're going to be married to, but should you?
Yeah.
She never answered that question. No. And that comes from your essence. And I guarantee you there's some bad employees that are saying, yeah, marry this guy when, oh, that's going to be bad,
right.
That sort of thing. So refined intuition is when you're able to have that input come through, go through your corporate headquarters and connect with your consciousness in a way that's not altered, in a way that is objective and clear in the way the world really is. So when we talk about the way the world really is, it comes from our intuition, which has a certain level of refinement.
That's right.
How you measure that and how you see it is really difficult.
Correct.
But there are a lot of people who have psychic abilities, intuitive abilities, clairvoyance.
Yes.
They act as a medium, which we can do all of those. Patricia and I can do all of those. She's usually my communicator, and then I go back and evaluate. We kind of work together with this, but we have all those abilities, but when you do that with the people that are out there now, they have these blind spots, and a lot of them don't even know what their blind spots are.
Well, I have to tell you, I had no idea what my blind spots were until I started using the ecosystem approach.
Well, and I would say that when I met you, you knew you had intuition.
I did.
But there was, it wasn't useful, it wasn't practical, and it probably more than anything, it just made you look bad out in the world. So I
was a crazy person.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
yes. Not that too much of that's changed, but that's beside the point.
So,
I can laugh at myself today when I couldn't before. Let me say it that way.
So, intuition, so refined intuition is when you can retrain some of those employees so that you could go, when the input comes in, go all the way up to your consciousness and unaltered. And so you can see it with more clarity than you do before.
And then decide whether it's true, or this is important information,
or I need to go back and look.
I need to go back and look some more, or how do I deal with this?
Yes,
that kind of thing.
So, and here's the other thing. Refined intuition is essential to use your essence as intended as your best consultant and your internal guru.
Right.
We're not we're not designed to go to outside experts, say, "Oh, what do you think about this? Oh, what do
No,
you think about that?" You know, that sort of thing. We're designed to kind of check in with ourselves and say,
correct.
"Oh, what should I do in this particular situation? What's in my best interest in this particular situation for me only?"
Yeah, exactly. And I know we're gonna go to the summary in just a minute, but I just want to say by using the ecosystem approach, that's when you have the ability to even ask those questions, to even think of those
Yes.
questions, because it's not like you're saying, "Oh, I doubt everything that comes through." That's not the perspective in which you look at it through. You look and say, "What's in the best interest of this situation
Yes.
for myself and others?"
Yes.
And it's really it's kind of cool because most of us never have that opportunity to have that. I'm going to say that much clarity in a question.
Exactly.
It's pretty darn cool. So are we ready to
Yep.
do the
Let's
summary?
do it.
Jason, what is the summary of this segment?
Having refined intuition is essential to use your essence as intended as your best consultant and your internal guru.
Mhm.
Using your essence as your guide in your life has been discredited because of the negative energy attached to you that
Mhm.
we're calling the bad employees. Those bad employees distort or change input that
Yes.
is received, and therefore intuition cannot be trusted. So people go to the experts or external sources for information that are deemed trustworthy. But that information is never specific to the individual, and but some type of generalized best practice.
Mhm.
Refined intuition is a process of constantly, consistently, and specifically removing negative energy or retraining the bad employees. This metaphor for essence should give clarity what has been very difficult to describe to most people.
Yes.
This metaphor is a breakthrough to understand the essential usefulness of essence and intuition.
Very good. So, real fast, Jason, because we are running over in this segment,
Yeah.
could you explain how to remove negative energy or how to do the clearing?
We've talked about this before.
Yes.
You can have any sort of posture. You can be sitting, standing, laying
Mhm.
down,
Mhm.
walking. And when we say to eliminate in your mind's eye, imagine gathering up what we say to eliminate in your body and then blow it into the processor. Sierra's putting a picture of the processor up now. It just goes in the top and gets processed, comes out neutral. That's how we get rid of negative energy.
Yes. And don't forget that when you're removing negative energy from you and it's turning into neutral energy, you're not only helping you, but you're helping not and your environment and the entire world.
Yes.
Stay tuned when we come back. We're going to help you start to remove the negative energy from your bad employees at your headquarters, also called your essence, so you can have better intuition and use your essence as you were designed. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to help you start to remove negative energy from your bad employees at your headquarters, also called your essence, so you can have better intuition and use your essence as you were designed. Jason, are you ready?
Here we go. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can use the metaphor of my essence as a 10-story headquarters with 100 employees, 80 of which are bad, dysfunctional employees, unless you've been using the ecosystem approach for a while.
Okay.
Take a breath. The veils and illusions.
Throw them away. You don't need them. And I'm going to shorten it up just a little bit and to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that negative energy, the negative energies, which are represented by bad employees, has a real consequence that can be seen when you look back at your life and see bad decisions or actions. And well, I take that now with regret. Let's remove the regret and the veils and illusions right now. Take a breath. and blow it out.
And to eliminate the stress, anxiety, and overwhelm in my life that is the result from those employees, in my essence, sabotaging me and creating havoc in my life.
Take a breath. You don't need it. Stress, anxiety, overwhelm, throw it away. And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that each employee, in my essence, has the foundation of life force, and then the second layer of unique attributes that contains the knowledge of my essence with purpose and self-knowledge. That's very positive. So nice and easy. Remove the veils and illusions right here so you can see that each employee does have an understanding of who you are. Jason?
And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that dark energy creates a bad employee by overtaking the second layer and changes the personality, the motives, the true understanding of self, which can create havoc in my life.
Yes. Take a breath. And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that the ecosystem approach is a very effective way of helping me retain my bad employees that cannot be fired, meaning you remove the negative energy from those bad employees. Take a breath. Easy, easy. And throw bad energy away.
Retrain. Yeah, it was
Retrain them.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
The veils and illusions so I can see that the ecosystem approach is designed to retrain the bad employees
There you go.
so my intuition can be refined and applied to my life in the best way.
Nice. Take a breath. Veils and illusions. And to eliminate the barriers so I can see that refining my intuition by removing bad employees or bad employee energy is essential no matter how good my intuition is presently. Take a breath, nice and easy. Throw it away. Jason?
And to eliminate the barriers to my patience so I can take the time I need to see and retrain all those bad employees.
Yes, take a breath. And last one for this section, and to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see my essence is a mentor, guru, and coach that I will ever,
It's the best mentor.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Is the best mentor, guru, and coach that I will ever have, but it requires that I remove the bad employees that influence my essence and me in a negative and sometimes destructive way. Take a breath and throw it away. Jason, let's activate some life force energy. We didn't talk about that, but what we're going to do is life force energy is the most powerful energy to get things done for you all around in who you are. And so what we're going to do is we're going to call in that life force energy. We're going to have it come in through the top of our head, and then we're going to stop it at the tips of our toes. We're going to pull it back up, and it's going to collect negative energy along the way, and we're going to throw it away and keep on going. You ready?
Yep.
Here we go. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to activate life force energy so I can be happy and healthy, yes, but also have the clarity and courage and confidence to see what is in my best interest and what is not in my best interest. And especially where employees that are within me concern. Nice and easy. Pull in and throw away the negative energies that are keeping you from the clarity, courage, and confidence you need. Jason?
And to activate life force so I can have hope for my headquarters or essence to have a positive and useful force in my life.
Pull it in. That's hope. Any negative energies that are around it, throw them away. And activate life force so I can trust that I can develop my abilities and talents by focusing on my personal headquarters and retraining. That means removing negative energies from those bad employees. Pull it in. And let go.
Yes. And to activate life force so I can decide to focus on developing and retraining my staff that directly affects me all during my life.
Yes.
Those 80 employees. Yes.
Pull it in, focus on it, and throw it away. And to activate life force so I can have everything that I need and want to understand that it's up to me and how I can deal with letting go of the negative energies by being happy and healthy and being creative and having fun and heal myself and heal, well, my life right now. Pull it in and blow out any negative energies. Jason, what are we going to talk about next week?
It's the ultimate journey. Is it inward or is it outward? And we've been watching a lot of travel videos where they're saying, hey, if you go out there in the world and you challenge yourself and you go outside your comfort zone, you learn about yourself and you do always have all these positive things. But do you?
Okay.
So, if today's show touched you in any way, if you're saying, oh my gosh, this is what I've been looking for. I know this is true. I know I have bad employees. I need to get rid of those bad employees.
Right.
Go to our website right now, theecosystemapproach.org. Sign up for our free section. Listen to our show every week. We talk about this every single week, and we'll be using this metaphor more and more.
Exactly.
And also go to our Facebook page, theecosystemapproach.org. While you're there, please like us and leave us a comment.
Yes, we'd love that. We'll connect next week, Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern Time. This is Transformation Talk Radio. You're listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia.
Remember, your ecosystem is the most important one in the world.
Thank you for listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. I'm Patricia. Tune in every week as we discuss practical ways to apply the ecosystem approach and develop your potential to live your life on your terms. For more information, visit our website at theecosystemapproach.org.